Hello everyone, this is Matt from Railworld Review, and today we're going to change the screen on the 2020 iPhone SE. And the first thing you want to do is power off the phone, but I can't do that, so let's move on to the tools. So the tools you're going to need are going to be a P2 driver, a Y000 driver, a PH000 driver, a razor blade of some sort, a pick, some Kapton tape if you're using an aftermarket screen, and some heat. So we're going to remove the bottom two screws with the P2 driver, and then we're going to heat up the front a little bit. You don't really need too much heat. It should come off fairly easily, but there is some water resistance. So we're going to lift up on the bottom portion. We're going to cut through that, cut through one side, and then cut through the other side, and then we're going to carefully cut through the top portion as well. And it should just lift up over to the side, just like it does on an iPhone 8 or an iPhone 8 Plus. Then we're going to grab that PH000 bit, remove these 4 screws, remembering to keep them in order. And then we're going to unplug the second to last cable right here, which is the battery. And then we can unplug the screen and home button cable and slide the screen down a little bit so we have easier access for these top 3 screws right here. Then you can take off this little metal panel and put it over to the side, and then we can unplug the front camera. Now the screen is separated from the phone. We'll remove these 5 screws on the top. And then we can remove this metal panel as well as the front speaker. Then we'll grab that razor blade to carefully loosen up the ambient light sensor. And then we'll grab this part of the flex cable and carefully pull it over to the side. All the adhesive should just come off fairly easily. I said there were 5 screws, there's actually 6. I left this one out on purpose so then that little panel separates easily. Next we're going to grab the Y000 bit and remove these 4 bottom screws right here. I recommend using a flat surface to remove the home button screw, or else the home button could just rip out. We're going to remove that metal panel, and then we can unplug the home button, which is fairly easy. And then carefully lift up the little piece where it plugs in, and then carefully get a razor blade under the cable to cut through the adhesive and lift up the home button cable. Once you get around that little nub, it should come out fairly easily, but again, be very careful and add heat if you need to. Then the home button should just fall out through the front like this. And here's the new screen. This is an aftermarket screen, and ironically it's for an iPhone 8, so it has a Force Touch sensor. But either way, what we're going to do is we're going to remove this little metal panel because we do have to add some tape. So we're going to remove the 3 screws on the left side, the 3 screws on the right side, and then we're going to take off this metal panel. You can see there's a little bit of tape on here, and you can actually see the cable is exposed a little bit. So in this situation, it's a good thing that I'm doing this. So we're going to grab the Kapton tape, and then we're just going to cover this bottom area like this, and we're going to do the same thing to the metal panel like this. There will be a little bit of excess. You can just cut off that little area and then just put it back onto the phone like this. You won't be able to really see anything, but it's definitely there. Then we're going to put those 6 screws back in on the left side and on the right side. Then we're going to put the home button in, and we're going to make sure it's plugged in properly. And we're going to put this metal panel on there. Grab that Y000 bit again and put in all 4 screws on the bottom. Then we're going to remove this little adhesive thing and loosen up the front sensor plastic piece that holds it in place. You don't need to remove it, but definitely loosen it up so then it does sit back in there properly. Then you can put that cable back in, make sure everything sits in there properly and flat, and then set the speaker in place, fold over that camera, and put that little metal piece back in. Then we're going to put in all 6 screws that go on the top, and then we're done with the screen. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the phone, we're going to clean up the adhesive, remove it all. This doesn't entirely make it waterproof, but it definitely helps. So we're going to add this thing for water resistance, but mainly for adhesive to keep the screen down. Now what you're going to do is you're going to plug in the front camera like this, and we're going to put that little metal panel back on, grab the PH000 bit, and put those 3 screws in. And then we're going to plug in the home button cable and the display cable, and then we're going to plug in the battery. Now we're going to put that metal panel on, and then we're going to put those 4 screws back in place where they go. Once we got all the screws in, we're going to fold the screen over like this, and push down on the screen, making sure everything is flat. And last, we're going to grab the P2 driver and put the 2 bottom screws back in the phone, and everything should be good. Hopefully this video helped you out. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section or on Twitter at @MattofRWR, and feel free to follow me on the social media listed above. Subscribe to my channel so you can see more repair and review videos, as well as a few videos I did for this phone, and hit that bell button so then YouTube actually reminds you when those videos do come out. Thanks for watching.